He's the golden voice behind the Phantom's mask, and he's Canadian. Ramin Karimloo is one of Andrew Lloyd Webber's leading men, a musical star in London's West End. But following his heart hasn't always been easy. Stuart Greer has more on this Canadian kid turned international star.
Down to the core.
It's opening night for the most anticipated sequel of all time, Andrew Lloyd Webber's Love Never Dies.
Always feel no more than halfway real.
It's the follow-up to the longest-running musical ever, The Phantom of the Opera. And it's the hottest ticket in London's West End. The mystery of the man behind the mask has captured audiences for more than 2 decades. Turns out the man behind this mask is really just a Canadian kid at heart.
You want some? Look at that, Tim Hortons. It's starting to make its way over here in the UK.
He is 32-year-old Ramin Karimloo from Peterborough, Ontario, the first Canadian cast in the role of Phantom on this famous stage.
For me, you want it so.
Creator Andrew Lloyd Weber was so impressed that when it came time to find the Phantom for his sequel, there was just one guy he wanted, the Canadian.
Well, our lead is the present Phantom in London, who's been playing it for a long time and has been a really popular, very sexy Phantom, I have to say. And he's just great.
So how does an ordinary kid from Canada land the most sought-after role in the world? Well, it's a journey to stardom worthy of an opera of its own.
It was just so surreal. I just couldn't stop laughing. I thought, this is ridiculous. And I kept thinking, the Rolodex of numbers going through my head. I'm like, who could I phone to tell them? Guess what?
The year is 1986. Phantom of the Opera debuts at Her Majesty's Theatre, and the story of a disfigured musical genius who becomes obsessed with a beautiful soprano is an instant hit. 24 years later, it's made $5 billion at the box office, and it can still pack an audience. But 12-year-old Ramin didn't know anything about all that on the day 20 years ago when he went to see the Phantom for the first time.
We had a school trip to go see the Phantom of the Opera, and I reluctantly went. The only reason I went was the day off school. By the end of the show, I was really moved, and I was excited throughout the whole show. And well, one thing I kept thinking is, don't cry, because you're a hockey player, you gotta be a tough guy. I thought, I can't control this, is unbelievable. And I thought, maybe I'd like to, that'd be cool, I'd do that. Maybe I want to be an actor and I'll play the Phantom. And all my friends were like, yeah, right, whatever.
Ramin was as obsessed as the man in the mask himself. So when the family moved to Toronto, it was his chance to see the Phantom some 25 times in all, even skipping class to do it.
Because there was always good ticket deals too, but I really had a good time, and it's the one thing I really connected with. I didn't even know why.
Back in Toronto, Ramin's big brother, Shervin, is his biggest fan. And his 3 nephews,
make a bed,
budding Phantoms. Shervin has the kind of memories you might expect of 2 brothers growing up in Canada.
As soon as you're done school till it's time to come home and go to bed, they're playing ice hockey.
So imagine Shervin's surprise when his little brother dumped sports for love of the stage.
He was just this little punk grade 9 kid saying, that's what I want to do when I grow up. And you never think seriously about it. And sure enough, not even 10 years later, he accomplished that goal. So it was really impressive.
Toronto's Alexander Mackenzie High School in Richmond Hill is about as far away from the bright lights of Broadway or London's West End as you can get.
Here he is in his grade 9 class, looking very innocent and young, and little Ramin.
But at school concert one year, Christopher Cantlin remembers how little Ramin transformed the stage.
He opened his mouth and sang a song from Phantom, and just everybody's jaw hit the floor, and it was this amazing moment. We were all agog. So that was the first sort of wow.
He had no formal training, didn't read music, and learned everything by ear. But the kid was determined. So when legendary stage singer Colm Wilkinson played the Phantom in Toronto, Ramin would wait for him at the stage door.
I asked him, what was your training? And he was very unorthodox. He came from the rock side of things, so I thought, well, that's the only sort of reference I had, so I'll do what he does.
So he started a tragically hip cover band.
And that was for me an acting gig, because my role was to try and be Gordon Downie, sound like him, move like him, talk like him, which was great. That was a lot of fun.
Wind on weather vane,
These days, he still warms up the vocal cords with a hip tune.
staring blue-eyed sailor me.
But getting to the stage takes a lot more than starting a garage band.
I was just reading through one of the papers, and there was an audition for a cruise ship. I thought, I need singers, maybe I'll give that a shot.
He got the gig, and after singing show tunes on a cruise ship, he landed bit parts in London, England. Then, at just 22, a big break, a role in the blockbuster Les Miserables, and suddenly there was no looking back. In 2007, he convinced producers to cast him as the youngest actor ever to play the Phantom.
I was 26 at the time, and he said, aren't you a bit young? I said, yeah, but I have an idea. So next thing I knew, a week later, the music was sent to my dressing room, and thank God he took a chance with me.
That chance paid off. Suddenly, the boy from Peterborough was drawing crowds.
When I'm backstage with him and we're coming out the actor's door in the back, and there's this throng of people waiting to get his autograph, and that I was just blown away going, are you kidding me? That's my little brother. Why would you want his autograph?
But the creator of the Phantom knew there was more story to be told. He wrote the sequel. Set 10 years later in America, the Phantom encounters his lost love.
And you're not here.
Once again, the Canadian found himself thrust upon the stage. Once again, the man behind the mask in the sequel Love Never Dies.
I saw myself on a bus. I'm looking at it going, it just still doesn't set in. It's just so surreal. Sometimes I think about my life and I just think, it's odd that I'm doing the things I wanted to do.
But the theater is a tough mistress. In the first weeks, critics panned the show, dubbing it Paint Never Dries. But it's made a comeback, and $14 million in advance ticket sales to boot. Now the show is going on the road to Australia, New York, and yes, Toronto in 2011.
That would be the ultimate dream. First of all, to work in Toronto, I've never done that, so my homecoming would be my debut. To be behind the mask, to do it too, talk about full circle. That'd be great.
It's hard for me to wrap my head around. I mean, to me, that's just still my little brother. I still can't grasp that he's as big of a star as he is.
The next act in Ramin Karimloo's show-stopping life, coming soon to a theater near you.